To understand that, like, the being on the set with her was, the idea was it should feel like one of her dinner.
In the late 1980s and throughout the 1990s, Hollywood had a figure who seemed to embody the very essence of romantic comedies, and that figure was Meg Ryan. Known for her bright smile, soft voice, and natural charm, she captured the hearts of millions of viewers around the world. Every studio wanted her, every audience trusted her, and just seeing her name on a movie poster could make a film a guaranteed success. But Meg Ryan was not always the celebrated star she became. Born Margaret Mary Emily and Hira on November 19, 1961, in Fairfield, Connecticut, she grew up in a quiet and relatively normal life far from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. She initially had no plans to become a movie star. Instead, she dreamed of becoming a journalist, focusing on studying at New York University while working part-time jobs to support herself. However, small opportunities slowly began shaping a different future. Her first exposure to cameras came through commercials for brands like Burger King and AM toothpaste. At the time, these were simply ways to earn extra money and had nothing to do with a Hollywood career. Yet, these small steps would gradually open the door to something far bigger than she could have imagined. By 1981, at just 20 years old, she landed her first minor film role, playing Candice Bergen's daughter in Rich and Famous. Although the role was tiny and easily overlooked by most viewers, it was a significant first step in what would become a remarkable career. Around the same time, she made a conscious decision to adopt the name Meg Ryan, borrowing her grandmother's maiden name, which subtly marked a shift toward a new professional identity. Her early career also included a recurring role on the CBS soap opera As the World Turns, where she played Betsy Stewart from 1982 to 1984. This role helped her gain recognition, as her character's on-screen romance drew attention and increased viewership. Slowly, audiences began to notice the blonde, blue-eyed actress whose energy and authenticity felt effortless. Unlike many young actors trying to grab attention, Meg Ryan seemed naturally engaging, and viewers responded to her charm in a way that would lay the foundation for her future stardom. By the mid-1980s, she took a bold step, leaving the stability of daytime television behind to move to Los Angeles, driven by the belief that a larger, more meaningful opportunity awaited. Her first notable film role in Hollywood came in 1986 with Top Gun, where she played Carol Bradshaw, the wife of Goose. Though it was not a starring role, her presence was memorable and audiences took notice. People began recognizing her in public, referring to her simply as Goose's wife, which made her realize that things were starting to change. This period marked the first hints of her rising fame, and although she faced some early setbacks, including the commercial failure of Armed and Dangerous alongside John Candy and Eugene Levy, it was clear that Meg Ryan's star power was beginning to emerge. She was no longer invisible, her name was gaining traction, and her ability to convey charm, warmth, and relatability on screen positioned her for the breakout roles that would follow. Through these early experiences, Meg Ryan's career began to take shape, showing both the promise of future stardom and the challenges she would face navigating an industry defined by intense competition, public scrutiny, and constant change. After stepping into Hollywood with small roles and commercial work, Meg Ryan's career truly began to gain momentum in the late 1980s. Following her appearance in Top Gun, where she played Goose's supportive wife, she started to get noticed for more substantial opportunities. While some of her early films, like Armed and Dangerous, did not perform well at the box office, these experiences allowed her to learn the demands of film sets, build relationships with directors and co-stars, and refine her natural screen presence. It was during this period that Ryan demonstrated an important quality that would define her career, a combination of charm, warmth, and relatability that felt effortless, not manufactured. Unlike many young actors who tried too hard to stand out, Ryan's authenticity drew audiences in, allowing them to connect with her characters in a way that felt personal. Her big breakthrough came with the 1987 film Promised Land, where she earned her first Independent Spirit Award nomination. This recognition was quiet but significant, signaling to the industry that Ryan was more than just a pretty face. She possessed genuine acting talent capable of conveying depth and emotion. Around the same time, She starred in Inner Space opposite Dennis Quaid, a performance that showcased her comedic timing and ability to create believable on-screen chemistry. Critics and audiences alike began to recognize that rare spark she brought to every project. The effortless connection between Ryan and Quaid in Inner Space made it clear that Hollywood was witnessing the rise of a true romantic comedy talent. By 1988, Meg Ryan was working consistently with well-known actors, including her reunion with Dennis Quaid in Diesel and appearing alongside heavyweights like Sean Connery and Mark Harmon in The Presidio. These films, regardless of box office performance, proved that she could hold her own alongside established leading men. But it was in 1989 when she starred in When Harry Met Sally, directed by Nora Ephron and co-starring Billy Crystal, that Meg Ryan truly cemented her place in Hollywood history. The film was not only a commercial success, earning over $92 million, but it also delivered one of the most iconic scenes in film history, the diner scene, where Ryan's comedic timing, expressive reactions, and natural charm made audiences laugh, gasp, and instantly remember her performance. She received Golden Globe and BAFTA nominations for her work, and critics praised her ability to combine humor, vulnerability, and authenticity in a single performance. This role solidified her as Hollywood's new romantic comedy queen, capable of drawing audiences solely based on her presence and talent. Following this, Ryan continued to take creative risks, starring in Joe vs. the Volcano alongside Tom Hanks in 1990. While the film itself was offbeat and not a massive commercial success, it marked the beginning of one of Hollywood's most beloved on-screen partnerships. The chemistry between Ryan and Hanks became instantly recognizable, a combination of charm, humor, and emotional depth that audiences adored. Meg Ryan also demonstrated her range by stepping into dramatic territory with Oliver Stone's The Doors in 1991, portraying Pamela Corson in a raw and unglamorous role. This performance surprised many critics who had only associated her with lighthearted romantic comedies, proving that she could handle complex characters with emotional depth. By the early 1990s, Meg Ryan was not only beloved but undeniable, a major force in Hollywood who could attract audiences, create memorable characters, and move seamlessly between comedic and dramatic roles. Her natural charisma, combined with the authenticity she brought to every performance, made her the actress everyone wanted, both on screen and behind the scenes. At this point in her life and career, she was not just rising, she was defining an era, a moment in Hollywood when romantic comedies became cultural touchstones largely because of her influence. Audiences didn't just watch Meg Ryan's films, they connected with them, laughed with her, cried with her, and in many ways, felt a sense of familiarity that few actors could inspire. Her rise was not only a product of talent, but of timing, presence, and the ability to make every character relatable, memorable, and deeply human. The 1990s marked the peak of Meg Ryan's career, a decade in which she became one of the most recognizable and beloved actresses in Hollywood. During this time, she fully established herself as the queen of romantic comedies, with a string of films that not only achieved commercial success, but also left a lasting cultural impact. One of the defining aspects of Ryan's work during this period was her repeated collaborations with Tom Hanks and director Nora Ephron. Their combined talent and chemistry created films that felt fresh, relatable, and deeply entertaining. In 1993, Ryan reunited with Hanks for Sleepless in Seattle, a movie that showcased her unique ability to blend vulnerability, charm, and humor into a character who felt real and relatable. Playing the role of Annie Reed, a woman grappling with love and the unpredictability of life, Ryan captured the hearts of audiences worldwide. The film grossed over $227 million globally, and Ryan received yet another Golden Globe nomination, cementing her status as Hollywood's most bankable romantic lead. The on-screen partnership between Ryan and Hanks was remarkable because it combined effortless chemistry with timing and emotion that audiences could feel in every scene. This period also showed that Meg Ryan was not afraid to take on challenges that went beyond lighthearted romantic comedy. In 1994, she played a deeply complex role in When a Man Loves a Woman, portraying a wife and mother struggling with alcoholism. This raw and emotional performance contrasted sharply with the bubbly, light-hearted characters she had become known for, proving her versatility as an actress. Critics praised her ability to embody vulnerability, pain, and resilience, while still maintaining a sense of authenticity. The film also highlighted Ryan's commitment to roles that required emotional depth and honesty, further solidifying her reputation as more than just a charming romantic lead. Following that, she returned to lighter, more comedic roles, including IQ, in which she played Albert Einstein's niece, and French Kiss in 1995, which charmed audiences with its humor and romance. These films demonstrated Ryan's ability to balance different genres, from comedy to drama, while still captivating viewers with her presence. In 1996, she surprised many critics again with Courage Under Fire, a serious and intense drama in which she starred opposite Denzel Washington. For this role, Ryan underwent physical training and transformation, showing her dedication to fully embodying her character. The film proved that she could take on demanding, serious roles while maintaining the credibility and respect she had earned in lighter films. By the late 1990s, Meg Ryan's career reached new heights with City of Angels alongside Nicolas Cage, and You've Got Mail, her third collaboration with Tom Hanks and Nora Ephron. You've Got Mail was a massive success, earning nearly $250 million worldwide, and showcased Ryan's enduring charm, comedic timing, and emotional depth. These films define the era of 1990s romantic comedies, and Ryan's performances became synonymous with love, hope, and relatability. During this time, she also experienced personal milestones. She married Dennis Quaid on Valentine's Day in 1991, and in 1992, they welcomed their son, Jack Quaid. Despite the pressures of motherhood, Ryan returned to work just 3 months later, balancing career and family life with grace. These years represented a combination of professional dominance and personal development, but also the beginning of the challenges that would later affect her career. While audiences adored her and studios lined up to work with her, the relentless scrutiny of Hollywood and the pressures of fame were quietly taking their toll. Meg Ryan had reached the peak of her public admiration, but life behind the scenes was more complicated. She had proven herself as a versatile, talented, and bankable actress, capable of drawing audiences with both charm and depth. Yet, the decade also laid the groundwork for the personal and professional challenges she would face in the early 2000s, reminding her that even the most beloved stars are not immune to the pressures and scrutiny of Hollywood. As the new millennium arrived, Meg Ryan's career faced one of its most difficult periods, both personally and professionally. In 2000, she traveled to Ecuador to film Proof of Life alongside Russell Crowe. What happened on set marked a turning point in Ryan's life and public image. While the professional collaboration seemed routine at first, rumors soon began circulating about an alleged affair between Ryan and Crowe. The media frenzy was immediate and relentless, reducing a complex situation to gossip headlines. Ryan, previously celebrated as America's sweetheart, suddenly found herself portrayed as a villain in the eyes of the public. Her private life, particularly her marriage to Dennis Quaid, which had already been struggling, became the focus of public scrutiny. The intense media attention painted her actions in a one-sided light, causing lasting damage to her reputation. For Ryan, the experience was emotionally devastating. She later explained that her resentment toward Crowe was not born out of personal hatred, but rather from how the narrative spiraled out of her control. The rumors made her feel isolated, emotionally vulnerable, and abandoned at a time when she needed understanding and support. While Crowe distanced himself publicly, Ryan felt left to face the judgment alone. In addition to the media pressure, the public criticism was relentless. Fans who had adored her on-screen characters, women full of charm, kindness, and warmth, now judged her for choices in her personal life. Hollywood, an industry that had once celebrated her, became distant. Casting directors hesitated to offer roles, and the opportunities that had once been guaranteed began to diminish. Although the affair with Crowe ended in 2001, the damage had already been done. The public perception of Ryan had shifted, and for years, her name carried associations with scandal rather than the talent and charisma that had made her a box office star. During this period, Ryan continued to navigate both personal and professional challenges. Her marriage to Dennis Quaid officially ended, and while she tried to continue working in Hollywood, the roles offered to her were no longer as substantial or prominent. Her career, which had once been defined by consistent hits and top billing, now faced instability. Ryan made the difficult decision to take on more daring and controversial projects, including 2003's In the Cut, directed by Jane Campion. This film marked a stark departure from her previous romantic comedies. For the first time, Ryan appeared nude and participated in raw, graphic love scenes, stepping far outside the sweet, lovable image that audiences had embraced for years. While the film represented artistic bravery and an attempt to redefine herself, it failed commercially, earning only $23 million. Critics were divided, and longtime fans were left confused, unsure how to reconcile this new image with the woman they had admired for so long. The media amplified the scrutiny, focusing not only on the film's content but also on Ryan's appearance, with speculation about cosmetic procedures creating a public narrative that was harsh and unrelenting. As she aged, Hollywood's unforgiving focus on youth and beauty further complicated her career. The combination of personal scandal, professional risk-taking, and media scrutiny created an environment where Ryan struggled to find meaningful work. Her films in the mid-2000s, including Against the Ropes in 2004, failed to regain her earlier momentum. Gradually, it became evident that the actress, who once commanded multi-million-dollar paychecks and global recognition, was now facing a career in transition. At the same time, Ryan chose to focus on her personal life. In 2006, she adopted a baby girl from China, naming her Daisy True Ryan. Single motherhood became a priority, and she began stepping back from Hollywood, reassessing her goals and focusing on family over fame. Beyond the public eye, she also faced health challenges, including arthritis affecting her hips, which caused chronic pain and sometimes a noticeable limp. These struggles, though private, added another layer of difficulty to her already complicated life. Despite the setbacks, Ryan continued to work occasionally, appearing in films like The Women in 2008 and Serious Moonlight in 2009, as well as guest roles on television shows such as Curb Your Enthusiasm and Web Therapy. However, it was clear that she was no longer chasing the spotlight or seeking validation from Hollywood. Instead, she prioritized personal well-being, family, and creative freedom, setting the stage for a more thoughtful, self-directed chapter in her life and career. After years away from the spotlight, Meg Ryan began to quietly reinvent herself, focusing on creative control and meaningful storytelling rather than the pressures of Hollywood fame. One of the most important steps in this reinvention came in 2015 when she made her directorial debut with Ithaca, a World War II drama in which she also starred. The film did not make waves at the box office and received mixed reviews, but its significance extended far beyond financial success or critical acclaim. For the first time in her career, Ryan had full control over a project where her value was not measured by her appearance or box office draw, but by her vision, leadership, and creativity. Ithaca allowed her to step behind the camera and shape a story that mattered to her personally, giving her a sense of ownership and artistic fulfillment that acting alone could not provide. Around the same time, her personal life continued to evolve. She had an on and off relationship with musician John Mellencamp from 2010 to 2019, including an engagement in 2018. Though the relationship eventually ended, it reflected a chapter of growth, love, and self-discovery outside the pressures of Hollywood. Ryan also continued to embrace motherhood, raising her children Jack and Daisy with care and attention, far from the relentless scrutiny of the Los Angeles film industry. Professionally, she selectively returned to acting, focusing on projects that aligned with her creative and personal values. In 2023, she answered the lingering question about her return to Hollywood with a small, intimate romantic comedy, which she directed, produced, and starred in alongside David Duchovny. The film may not have been a blockbuster, but it showed that the charm, warmth, and relatability that audiences loved about her were still very much present. Now, layered with maturity, lived experience, and authenticity, Ryan proved that her artistry was not limited to youth or fame. Beyond specific projects, she has been refreshingly candid about the difficulties women face in Hollywood, particularly regarding ageism and the relentless pressure to maintain a youthful appearance. She has openly discussed the speculation about cosmetic surgery, responding with honesty and clarity. "I can't pay attention to it. It's just not worth it." Her perspective reflects a wisdom born from years of public scrutiny and personal challenges. Today, in her early 60s, Ryan lives a calmer, more grounded life in Montecito. Friends and those close to her report that she has found peace, prioritizing wellness, creativity, and meaningful relationships